It's been a day. Let's talk about Pokemon card investing. Is it worth it? First off, let's define what it is. Basically, someone that is investing in Pokemon has the intent to purchase product, usually in bulk, to sell later down the line at a higher price. So you're initially investing in a certain amount and then later on hoping to offload all or part of that as the price appreciates. The question now is, are you a Pokemon card investor? I know a lot of people don't like to consider themselves as a Pokemon investor. A lot of people would rather be known as a collector. Honestly, whatever you want to be in this hobby, it's on you. But for some reason, there's some negative stigma in being a Pokemon card investor. Do whatever you want. It's a free country. Just be real with yourself. That's really all it's about. So a Pokemon card investor, let's say that you are a collector right now, and you have a booster box of, let's say, Chilling Reign. And with that Chilling Reign booster box, you intend to hold that because you like the way it looks. You like the way the booster box looks, and your intent isn't to sell it down the road. However, let's say you have your first kid and you need a good amount of money just for a little bit of extra buffer, and you decide to sell that booster box, and now it's going for, let's just say, $600, where you bought it at MSRP. Were you an investor the entire time? I would probably lean towards no, because your intention was not to sell it, but you did because of life circumstances. But at the same time, you might have unintentionally been an investor. It comes down to your own mindset, the person that is accumulating these products. If your intent is to sell it further down the line, you're probably an investor. I'm an investor. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a Pokemon card investor. I like to consider myself more as a business, but at the same time, I'm holding on to product which I'm gonna sell further down the line when the price appreciates. So I guess I'm a business and a Pokemon card investor as well. Why? So now let's get down to the bare bones of what this video is about. Is Pokemon card investing worth it? And the conclusion is maybe. When it really comes down to it, Pokemon card investing might be worth it, as long as Pokemon is still in business 5-10 years down the line. If Pokemon's no longer in business, trust me, your boxes will be worth next to nothing, and that is the risk that you take when you are investing in Pokemon cards. Firstly, let's talk about the benefits to Pokemon card investing. Pokemon card investing has been compared to the S&P just kind of as a benchmark. Bear in mind that the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Dow, it's not comparing apples to apples. These are two very, very different things, but you can still group them in the same sense of investing. With the S&P 500, you're pretty much investing in a digital asset. Trust me, you've got no ownership in any of these companies, real ownership in any of these companies. However, the perceived notion is that you have partial ownership in these companies and sometimes get to vote on certain decisions that these companies take. But the nice thing about the S&P 500 that isn't the same with Pokemon is that if you wanted to sell your stocks, you get to do so automatically. Unless the market's closed, that is. But usually transactions are done almost automatically. As long as you're selling at market, you can get your entire investment out of the market within a few seconds. That's not the same with Pokemon card investing. You have a product that you have to get rid of further down the line. And this is where a lot of Pokemon card investors don't consider when they are holding on to all this stuff. How are you going to liquidate this stuff later down the road? Generally, overall though, if you are looking at the percentage growth of Pokemon card investing versus the S&P 500, lately, Pokemon has been doing much better than the S&P 500 in terms of return on investment. Now, these are unrealized gains. You have to keep that into mind. Pokemon card investing, it's easy to put a number on the actual products themselves and say, this box has gone up 20%. I am 20% richer. No, you are still net whatever amount you paid net negative for that product. But On paper, yes, unrealized gains, you've made this much amount. That is the same with stocks. You have not made money until you've sold. Let me say that again.
You have not made money until you've sold.
I'm sorry. I just feel like it's fun to talk about this because this is stuff a lot of people don't bring up when they are making their investment videos. The real truth about Pokemon card investing is that you do it because it's fun. You do it because stocks are boring. You put your money in stocks, like, trust me, I've got my retirement in stocks and 401k. I've got all that, right? But it's not fun. Some people do find it fun, but the people who are doing that are like day trading and using a lot of leverage and risk and all that stuff, and it's not fun. Pokemon, though, is fun. I really enjoy opening Pokemon cards, seeing what's happening with the market of Pokemon cards. It's a lot of fun, and that's why you would invest in Pokemon cards instead of putting in a traditional 401k or some other asset. It's because it's fun. That's really all it comes down to. S&P is not fun, okay? You put your money there and you sit and wait. That's the right way to do it. So the cons to Pokemon card investing, I kind of alluded to this already, is that it's a lot of work later down the road when you have to sell this stuff. If you aren't ready for that when the time comes, you can say goodbye to that 20% profit, at least 10 to 15% profit. If you're not prepared to get rid of your Pokemon card investments later down the line, you're gonna have to sell it on eBay. And with eBay, you got at least a 10 to 15% fee on top of that. If not, you're gonna have to sell it locally to someone, probably at minus 20%, if you're lucky, minus 20% market value for them to take all of it off your hands. A lot of those unrealized gains are actually gonna be taken away. So that is one thing you have to consider. Me as a business, I have a 3% or 3.5% fee that I have to worry about, which isn't bad. That's why it's important to have a Pokemon card business building as well. If you are investing, you can liquidate this stuff much easier and you don't have to pay a huge amount of tax. But just keep in mind, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It really is. Building a business, building a brand, it is a grind. If you're not ready to do that, then the 10, 20%, whatever you sell it at, fee is worth it. If you aren't willing to put in the work, just acknowledge that in the future, you will have to sell it at most likely a discount. Another con of Pokemon card investing is that it's not all sunshines and rainbows. Good example is Vivid Voltage. Vivid Voltage had the greatest crash of all time in Sword and Shield, 200 all the way down to like 75, 80 a box. A lot of people got wiped out because of Vivid Voltage, but now it is back on the rise. Years and years later, it is back on the rise. The very important thing about Pokemon card investing is that you have to get in at a very low price, the lowest price possible. And if you don't have a business license and you're buying stuff at MSRP with taxes on top of it, you are at a significant disadvantage. Yes, things can go evolving skies and appreciate from 100, 120, all the way to 1,000 a booster box, but just keep in mind, that is very rare. So is Pokemon card investing worth it? I would say yes, because I think it's really fun. If you're not willing to put in the work right now, you have to be okay with the fees or markdowns later on, depending on where you sell your products. As long as you're okay with that, do whatever you will with your Pokemon card investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket though. Don't put all your eggs in Pokemon. Have a safety net. Obviously invest in the S&P as you would. So that's the rundown of Pokemon card investing. If you guys like videos like this, I can definitely do some more. Just let me know in the comments below, what are your top Pokemon card investments and which ones are the losers for you? I'll see you guys on the next one. Love you all. Peace.